Princess Elena's Trials. Chapter 1. The Cunning Emperor. In a big, powerful empire, there lived an emperor who loved to make plans and keep secrets. He ruled over everyone and everything, but he worried a lot about his son, Prince Julian. The emperor wanted to make sure that no one could take Julian away from him, so he decided to protect Julian in a very strange way. One sunny morning, the emperor called Julian to his large, dark room. "Julian," the emperor said, "you are my only son, and you must always stay safe. I will make sure no one can harm you." Julian, who was a kind and lonely prince, felt sad. "Father, I wish to meet other people and maybe find someone I love," he said softly. "No," the emperor shouted. "You are too important. I will not let anyone take you from me." His face looked very strict and serious. Julian felt a small tear roll down his cheek. He knew his father was very powerful, and he couldn't argue with him. "Yes, father," he whispered. The emperor watched Julian leave the room. He thought to himself, "I must keep him safe. No one can be trusted." He felt strong and powerful, but also a little scared inside. Every time a young man or woman came to the palace wanting to meet Julian, the emperor gave them a very hard job. "If you want to meet my son, you must first do something for me," he would say. One young man, who was brave and handsome, came to the palace. "I would like to meet Prince Julian," he said. The emperor looked at him and smiled a cold smile. "Very well," he said. "Bring me the starflower from the top of the frozen mountain. It is very hard to find and very far away." The young man left to find the flower. The emperor felt clever and safe, but deep down he was afraid. He did not sleep well that night, worrying about losing Julian. Julian watched from his window. He saw the young man leave and felt very lonely. "Will I ever have a friend?" he thought sadly. Chapter 2. The Daring Princess. In a faraway land, there lived a brave and wise princess named Elena. She heard stories about Prince Julian and how his father, the emperor, kept him away from everyone. Princess Elena felt sad for Julian. She wanted to help him. One evening, Princess Elena talked to her advisors in her bright and cheerful room. "I want to help Prince Julian," she said firmly. "He should have friends and the chance to find love." Her chief advisor, an old and wise woman, looked worried. "Princess, the emperor is very powerful and tricky. It could be dangerous," she said gently. Princess Elena smiled bravely. "I know it's dangerous, but it's the right thing to do. I want to try," she replied. Her advisors nodded, seeing her determination. "We will help you plan your journey," they said. Princess Elena felt excited and a little scared, but she was ready to face the challenge. She went to her room and looked at the map. "I will meet new people and see new places. And maybe I can make a real difference for Prince Julian," she thought happily. The next morning, Princess Elena packed her bag. She took a cloak for the cold, some food for the journey, and a book to keep her company. She dressed in simple clothes to not look like a princess. Before she left, her father, the king, came to see her. "Elena, be careful," he said, hugging her. "You are brave and kind, but remember to be wise too." "I will, father," Elena promised. With a strong heart and a hopeful smile, Princess Elena started her journey to the emperor's kingdom. She rode her horse through forests and over hills. As she traveled, she thought about Julian and hoped she could make him smile. Chapter 3. Assembling the Allies. As Princess Elena traveled towards the emperor's kingdom, she met some very special people. Each one of them had a unique skill that could help on her mission to free Prince Julian. One sunny morning, Elena was walking through a quiet forest when she heard a soft voice. She looked around and saw a woman sitting under a tree. This was Whisper, who could hear everything, even the quietest sound. "Hello, who are you?" Elena asked, walking towards her. "I am Whisper," the woman replied, smiling. "I heard your steps from far away. Why are you here? I am on a journey to help Prince Julian, Elena explained. Would you like to join me? Whisper thought for a moment and then nodded. I will help you. I can hear dangers before they come close, she said. Elena was happy to have Whisper with her. They continued walking and soon met another interesting person. This was Shadow, a man who could blend into the darkness. Why are you hiding in the shadows? Elena asked, curious. I like the quiet of the dark, Shadow answered, stepping out slowly. What brings you here? Elena shared her plan with Shadow. I need someone who can move unseen, she said. Shadow agreed to join. I can be very quiet and unseen. I will come with you, he said with a nod. Next, they met Forge, a strong man who was bending a large piece of metal with his hands. Elena was amazed. Hello, what are you doing? She asked. I like to make things from metal, Forge replied, smiling at his work. Who are you? I'm Elena. I need someone with great strength, she explained. Would you help us? Forge looked at his metal creation and then at Elena. Yes, I will help. I can open any locked door or lift heavy things, he said. Lastly, they found Gale, who was sitting quietly, the wind swirling around her. Leaves danced in the air as she controlled the breeze. Are you causing this wind? Elena asked, amazed. Yes, I am Gale. I can control the wind, Gale answered, her voice calm. Elena told her about the mission. We need someone who can control the weather. Will you join us? Gale smiled gently. The wind tells me you have a good heart. I will come with you, she said. Now, with her team of Whisper, Shadow, Forge, and Gale, Princess Elena felt stronger and ready to face any challenge. They all shared a moment of friendship and set off together, each ready to use their skills to help free Prince Julian. Chapter 4. The First Ordeal. Princess Elena and her new friends arrived at the Emperor's castle. It was big and scary. The Emperor met them at the gate. He looked very serious. Welcome, Princess Elena. Why are you here? The Emperor asked with a deep voice. I heard about Prince Julian and I want to help him, Elena replied bravely. The Emperor thought for a moment and then smiled, but it was not a nice smile. Okay, but first you must pass a test. You must bring me the ancient sword from the deep cave. It is very dark and full of puzzles, he said. Elena looked at her friends. They nodded, ready to help. We will bring you the sword, she said. They walked to the cave. It was dark and cold inside. Elena felt a little scared, but she knew her friends were with her. Whisper, can you hear the right path for us? Elena asked. Whisper closed her eyes and listened. Yes, I hear the echo from the left. We should go that way, she said. They followed the left path. After walking for a while, they found a big rock blocking their way. Forge, we need your strength, Elena said. Forge smiled and pushed the rock with his big, strong hands. The rock moved slowly and they could pass. They walked deeper into the cave. Soon, they saw the sword. It was shining with a soft light. It's beautiful, Elena whispered. But it's across a wide gap, Shadow noticed. I can go. It'll blend into the shadows and not fall. Shadow moved quietly and carefully. He reached for the sword and picked it up. He came back the same way, moving like a shadow. They all cheered quietly. They had the sword. They walked back out of the cave. The Emperor was waiting. He was surprised to see them succeed. Here is your sword, Elena said, giving it to the Emperor. The Emperor took the sword. He was not happy that they did it, but he had to keep his promise. You have done well, but there are more tests, he warned them. Elena and her friends were tired but happy. They had passed the first test together. They felt ready for whatever came next. Chapter 5. The Second Ordeal. The next morning, the Emperor met Princess Elena and her friends in the castle courtyard. He looked even more serious than before. Good morning, Princess, the Emperor said. Today's task is to capture the phantom stag. It is a magical creature that is hard to see and even harder to catch. You must bring it to me before sunset." Elena looked at her friends, feeling a bit worried, but also excited. "We will bring you the stag," she promised. They walked into the royal forest where the phantom stag lived. The trees were tall, and the light made shadows on the ground. It was beautiful but also mysterious. "Shadow, this is your task," Elena said. "You must use your skill to move unseen and find the stag." Shadow nodded and blended into the shadows. He moved quietly, searching for the stag. Whisper listened carefully. "I can hear the stag's breath. It is to the north," she whispered to Elena. Elena pointed, and Shadow followed the sound. After some time, he saw the stag. It was partly invisible, blending with the forest. Shadow slowly approached the stage. He was so quiet and careful that the stag did not notice him. Meanwhile, Gale prepared herself. "When Shadow drives the stag towards us, I'll use a gentle breeze to guide it into the open," she said softly. As Shadow got closer to the stage, it started to run. Gale used the wind to push it gently towards where Elena was waiting with a special net. With a swift movement, Elena threw the net over the stag. It was gentle but quick, and the stag was safely caught. "We did it! We caught the stag!" Elena exclaimed happily. They took the stage back to the Emperor. He was waiting and looked surprised to see them succeed again. "Here is the phantom stag," Elena said, showing the Emperor. The Emperor looked at the stag and then at them. "You have completed the second task," he said, not hiding his annoyance. "But don't celebrate too much. The last task is the hardest." Elena and her friends felt tired, but also stronger. They knew they could face the next challenge together. Chapter 6. The Third Ordeal. The next day, Princess Elena and her companions faced the Emperor once again. He looked stern, his eyes filled with challenges. "Princess Elena, for your final task, you must endure the trial of elements," the Emperor declared. "You will spend a night in the ancient arena, facing fire, ice, wind, and earth. Survive until dawn, and you will have completed your trials." Elena glanced at her friends, feeling a mix of determination and apprehension. "We will do our best," she assured the Emperor. They entered the arena, and immediately the elements began their assault. A fire raged from one side, casting flickering shadows. Ice formed on the ground, making it slippery and cold. The wind howled, threatening to knock them off their feet, and the earth trembled, sending shockwaves through the ground. Gale took charge, using her control over the wind to create pockets of calm amidst the chaos. "I'll keep the wind at bay," she shouted over the roar. Whisper closed her eyes, focusing on the sounds around them. "I hear the patterns of the elements," she called out. "We must move where the danger is least." Elena and her friends dodged and weaved, relying on their instincts and each other to navigate the treacherous arena. Forge's strength proved invaluable as he lifted fallen debris and blocked incoming threats. As the night wore on, the elements intensified their assault, testing their resolve. But together, they endured, supporting each other through the toughest moments. As dawn approached, the elements began to calm, their fury spent. Exhausted but triumphant, Elena and her companions emerged from the arena, battered but unbroken. They stood before the Emperor, who watched them with begrudging respect. "You have surpassed my expectations," he conceded. "You have completed the trials." Elena felt a surge of pride as she faced the Emperor. "We did it together," she said firmly, "and now we ask for Prince Julian's freedom." Elena and her friends exchanged relieved smiles, knowing that their courage and determination had prevailed. Together, they left the arena, ready to reunite Julian with his rightful freedom and embark on a new chapter of their journey. Chapter 7. The Revelation. After completing the trials, Princess Elena and her companions approached the emperor once more, their hearts filled with hope and determination. "Your Highness," Elena spoke with unwavering confidence, "we have fulfilled your tasks. Now, we ask for Prince Julian's freedom." The emperor regarded them with a solemn expression, his gaze shifting between each member of the group. "You have proven yourselves worthy," he conceded reluctantly. "Prince Julian is free to leave." Elena's heart soared with joy at the emperor's words. Turning to her companions, she beamed with gratitude. "Thank you, all of you. We have succeeded because of our unity and courage." Julian, who had been watching from a distance, approached tentatively. His eyes shone with a mixture of relief and disbelief. "Is it true? Am I truly free?" he asked, his voice trembling. Elena stepped forward, taking Julian's hand in hers. "Yes, Julian, you are free," she said softly, her eyes filled with warmth and reassurance. With tears of gratitude in his eyes, Julian embraced Elena, overcome with emotion. "Thank you, Elena. Thank you all," he said, his voice choked with emotion. As they prepared to leave the palace, Elena turned to the emperor once more, her tone earnest. "Your Majesty, we are grateful for your decision. We hope that peace and understanding may prevail between our kingdoms from this day forward." The emperor nodded solemnly, his expression reflecting a newfound respect for Elena and her companions. "Indeed, Princess Elena, may our kingdoms find common ground and prosperity in the days to come." With Julian by her side and her loyal companions at her back, Princess Elena led her group out of the palace, their hearts filled with hope for a brighter future. As they journeyed onward, they knew that their bond would only grow stronger, united in their quest for peace and justice. Chapter 8. Freedom and Unity. With Prince Julian now free and the tensions between their kingdoms eased, Princess Elena and her companions set out on a new journey, filled with hope for a brighter future. As they traveled through the countryside, Elena and Julian walked side by side, their hearts light with the promise of peace. "I cannot thank you enough, Elena," Julian said, his voice filled with gratitude. "You and your companions have saved me." Elena smiled warmly at Julian. "We are all in this together, Julian," she replied. "Now, let us focus on building a future where our kingdoms can thrive in harmony." Along the way, they encountered friendly villagers who welcomed them with open arms, eager to hear tales of their adventures. Whisper, Shadow, Forge, and Gale were hailed as heroes, their bravery and loyalty celebrated by all. As they journeyed onwards, Elena and her companions came across a beautiful meadow bathed in sunlight. "This would make a perfect spot for a picnic," Elena suggested, her eyes twinkling with excitement. Julian agreed with a smile, and together they spread out a blanket and enjoyed a leisurely lunch amidst the splendor of nature. "It feels good to be free," Julian remarked, his spirits lifted by the tranquility of their surroundings. As they rested in the shade of a tall oak tree, Elena felt a sense of contentment wash over her. "We may have faced many trials, but together we have emerged stronger than ever," she said, her voice filled with conviction. With renewed determination, Princess Elena and her companions continued their journey, their hearts united in the quest for peace and prosperity. As they traveled onward, they knew that the bonds forged on their adventures would carry them through whatever challenges lay ahead. The end. The story provided demonstrates English proficiency at the A1 level of the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, CEFR. Here's why. 1. Simple vocabulary and sentence structure. The vocabulary used throughout the story is basic and accessible, suitable for beginners. Sentences are short and straightforward, making it easy for readers at the A1 level to understand. Example: They walked to the cave It was dark and cold inside. 2. Limited complexity in grammar. The grammar structures employed are basic, with simple verb conjugations, pronouns, and sentence patterns commonly found at the A1 level. Example: they walked deeper into the cave. 3. Clear and direct communication. The dialogues are concise and direct, focusing on conveying essential information in a straightforward manner, without elaborate or nuanced language. Example: yes, I will help. I can open any locked door or lift heavy things, he said. 4. Repetition and reinforcement. The story often repeats key phrases or concepts, which helps reinforce comprehension and retention for learners at the A1 level. Example: we will bring you the sword, she said. 5. Contextualization and supportive context. The story provides context and support through clear descriptions and explanations, aiding comprehension for readers at the A1 level. Example: the trees were tall and the light made shadows on the ground. It was beautiful but also mysterious. Overall, the story's language complexity, vocabulary choice, grammar structures, and clarity of communication align with the expectations for English proficiency at the A1 level of the CEFR. It is suitable for beginner English learners who are just starting to develop their language skills. Here are 10 words phrases from the story along with their meanings, examples from the story, and examples in real life. 1. Companions. Meaning: friends or people who accompany and support each other. Example from the story: Princess Elena and her companions approach the emperor once more. Example in real life: I went on a hike with my companions, and we had a great time exploring the mountains together. 2. Assault. Meaning: a sudden and violent attack. Example from the story: they entered the arena and immediately the elements began their assault. Example in real life: the soldiers launched an assault on the enemy fortress, hoping to capture it. 3. Reluctantly. Meaning: doing something with hesitation or unwillingness. Example from the story: the emperor regarded them with a solemn expression, his gaze shifting between each member of the group, and conceded reluctantly. Example in real life: she reluctantly agreed to attend the party, even though she would rather stay at home. 4. Tranquility. Meaning: the state of being calm, peaceful, and free from disturbance. Example from the story: Julian remarked, his spirits lifted by the tranquility of their surroundings. Example in real life: she found tranquility by sitting beside the serene lake, listening to the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. 5. Contentment. Meaning: a state of happiness and satisfaction. Example from the story: as they rested in the shade of a tall oak tree, Elena felt a sense of contentment wash over her. Example in real life: after a long day's work, he sat by the fireplace with a book, feeling a deep sense of contentment. 6. Traverse. Meaning: to travel across or through something. Example from the story: as they journeyed onwards, they knew that the bonds forged on their adventures would carry them through whatever challenges lay ahead. Example in real life: we traversed the forest, crossing streams and climbing hills to reach the mountain summit. 7. Unity. Meaning: the state of being united or working together harmoniously. Example from the story: their hearts united in the quest for peace and prosperity. Example in real life: the community showed remarkable unity in organizing relief efforts after the natural disaster. 8. Gratitude. Meaning: the feeling of being thankful or appreciative. Example from the story: with tears of gratitude in his eyes, Julian embraced Elena. Example in real life: she expressed her gratitude to her friend for helping her during a difficult time. 9. Camaraderie. Meaning: mutual trust and friendship among people who spend time together. Example from the story. Their bravery and loyalty celebrated by all as they enjoyed the camaraderie of the villagers. Example in real life. Working together on the project fostered a sense of camaraderie among the team members. 10. Prosperity. Meaning, the state of being successful, wealthy, or flourishing. Example from the story. May our kingdoms find common ground and prosperity in the days to come. Example in real life. The country experienced a period of economic prosperity, with businesses thriving and unemployment rates dropping. From the story, readers can learn several valuable lessons. 1. The power of unity and teamwork. Throughout the story, Princess Elena and her companions face numerous challenges together. Despite their differences, they work as a team, using their individual strengths to overcome obstacles and achieve their goals. This emphasizes the importance of unity and collaboration in achieving success. In real life, this lesson teaches readers the value of working together with others towards a common purpose, as well as the strength that comes from supporting and relying on one another. 2. Courage and resilience in the face of adversity. Princess Elena and her companions demonstrate courage and resilience as they confront various trials and dangers on their journey. Despite facing daunting tasks and uncertain outcomes, they persevere with determination and bravery. This teaches readers the importance of facing challenges with courage and resilience, and the belief that they can overcome difficult situations by staying strong and persevering. 3. Kindness and compassion can overcome conflict. The story highlights how acts of kindness, compassion, and understanding can overcome conflicts and bring about positive change. Princess Elena's willingness to help Prince Julian, despite the historical tensions between their kingdoms, ultimately leads to reconciliation and peace. This teaches readers the importance of empathy, forgiveness, and treating others with kindness and respect, even in difficult circumstances. It shows that by reaching out with compassion and understanding, individuals can bridge divides and build meaningful connections with others. This story and voiceover have been provided by English Made Easy. Learn through stories. Copying or re-uploading is strictly prohibited.